Hello everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Rumana Ali. I hope you all are doing well. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the topic kidney failure. Up till we were discussing about the process of urine formation and also about the different steps that involved in the process of urine formation. So we have seen that after the formation of the urine into the kidneys, micturition is a process that occurs due to which the muscles gets contracted, and due to the contraction of muscles, you can easily pass out the urine through urethra. Now, if your kidneys get failed, who will purify the blood in which the urea and other waste materials are present? Who will remove that waste material from your kidney? So first we'll see the definition of kidney failure. Kidney failure is nothing but renal failure. The nephron, they fails to work. Our kidneys, they fails to remove waste from our blood. But if that waste that is found in the blood, if it gets accumulated for a longer period of time, then it leads to a lot of disorders. We need to face a lot of disorders if the waste material would not be removed from our blood. Now in this situation, what we need to do? We can go for kidney transplant. So kidney transplant can be the treatment to cure kidney failure. And this kidney transplant is a permanent solution. But if a person cannot afford to buy a kidney, cannot afford for the kidney transplantation, then he or she, what type of treatment they can go for? So if they do not afford for kidney transplantation, they can go for a temporary solution, and temporary solution to treat the kidney failure patients is dialysis. They go for dialysis. This is a temporary solution. See, if the kidneys fails to work in a proper manner, if both the kidneys, I am not talking about any one of the kidneys of the human being, I am telling that if both the kidneys fail to purify the blood, if they fail to form the urine, then that condition leads to a disorder, and that condition is called as kidney failure. If the kidney fails to work, if it fails to remove the waste from our blood, then our blood contains a lot of waste material that is going to be circulated throughout of our body. It can affect the different organs of the human body. So the kidney failure patients can go for a permanent solution, that is for kidney transplantation, or either they can go for a temporary solution, that is for dialysis. Now we are going to discuss about both these solutions a little bit in detail. Okay, let us talk about kidney transplant. So kidney transplant is nothing but to transplant a foreign kidney into the body. If we are buying a kidney, a foreign kidney that is of other person, and if we transplant that kidney into our body for the process of blood purification, then that type of process is called as kidney transplantation. There are so many things that we need to take into the consideration while going for the process kidney transplant, and one of the main important thing is the organ which we are going to insert, which we are going to transplant into the body. It should be donated by our siblings or by our parents or either by our close relatives. That should not be donated by some other persons. We cannot transplant the kidney of other persons. Either we can take the kidney from the siblings or from the close relatives. Then only the kidney which can be taken from the siblings or the parents can easily be transplanted into the body of a patient, because the kidney which is transplanted by the siblings or by the parents, it shows the genetic material, it shows some characters which are similar to that of the patient's body. So patient's body can easily be allowed, it can easily accepted the kidney transplantation. There would be no graft rejection takes place. For example, if we are going to transplant foreign kidney that is not of any sibling or parents, that is not donated by the siblings or the parents or by the close relatives, then what would happen? It leads to a problem called graft rejection. Our body would reject that kidney, would not allow the kidney to function in a proper manner, and that rejection is called as graft rejection. So in the graft rejection, what happened? Rejection of the foreign organ by the body's immune system would be seen. It can be seen. The rejection of the organs can be seen by our immune system or by our body. So if the kidney transplantation process gets failed, then the kidney which gets transplanted into the body of a patient would not work. So this will fail if we are going to take the kidney from other persons instead of taking it from siblings, parents or close relatives. We can survive on one kidney, but if both the kidneys are damaged, then we can go for kidney transplantation. And whenever we go for this permanent solution, we make sure that the organ which needs to be transplanted should be donated by our close relatives in order to prevent graft rejection. This is about the kidney transplantation. Now, the temporary solution is dialysis. If a person cannot go for the permanent solution, that is for kidney transplantation, then they can go for a process called dialysis. Dialysis is a process by which the removal of urea and other waste material can be achieved artificially without the help of the kidney. So this removal of waste material artificially from our blood, that is nothing but the process called dialysis. And this process, this solution is of two types. One is hemodialysis and the other one is peritoneal dialysis. In your syllabus, the process of hemodialysis is given, but there is no any process given about peritoneal dialysis. So we are going to discuss about hemodialysis only. We are going to learn about the process of hemodialysis. Dialysis is nothing but the temporary solution by which you can remove all the waste that is there in your blood with the help of certain machines. And a person can go for the dialysis thrice in a week. If both the kidneys are damaged, if more amount of the urea and waste material is getting accumulated into the blood of a patient, then that person can go for this temporary solution, that is for the process of dialysis, thrice in a week. And this process can be done within 1 or 2 hours. So hemodialysis is a temporary solution to treat the kidney failure patients, and in that hemodialysis, in that process, the blood from the patient's body is collected and it is going to be transported in a machine. We call that machine as a dialysing machine. So once the blood from the patient's body enters into the dialysing machine, whatever the waste that is present in the blood, it can be removed out with the help of this dialysing machine. So dialysis is nothing but a temporary solution to treat the kidney failure patients without the help of kidneys. We are taking the help of dialysing machine instead of kidney to remove the waste that is found in the blood. Now let us see the process of dialysis here. If this is a patient whose both the kidneys got damaged and the kidneys are unable to filter the blood, and they are unable to filter the waste that is present in the blood of a patient. So now in the process of dialysis, what we are going to do, let us see. So in this process, we will select one convenient artery, and after selecting this convenient artery, we can take the blood from that artery. Why we are taking the blood from artery, not from the vein? In the veins, the blood will not flow with a force, but when we see the blood flow into the artery, then it flows with some speed. So we can take the blood by choosing a convenient artery. So once the blood is taken out from the convenient artery, it can be transported into the tube-like structure which is made of cellophane. So cellophane tube is present into which the blood is transported. Once the blood enters into the cellophane, we can add an anticoagulant here, and the name of this anticoagulant is heparin. We can add heparin into the blood. The purpose of adding heparin is to avoid blood clotting. Once the blood comes out of our body, the blood will clot within a short period of time. Just to prevent the blood clotting, we are adding heparin, which is an anticoagulant substance, into the blood of a patient. So after the addition of heparin, blood is allowed to enter into the dialysing machine. Now what is there in the dialysing machine? So in the dialysing machine, a tube, there are some chambers present through which the tube runs, and in the dialysing machine a fluid is also filled. We call that fluid as dialysing fluid. So what is there in this dialysing fluid? This dialysing fluid is our healthy blood plasma. It is exactly like our blood, but the difference is it doesn't contain any waste material like urea or potassium ions. There will be no waste material or urea present in this blood. So the blood which is present in the dialysing fluid will be free of waste material. So this is our dialyzing fluid. Now when the blood runs through this tube, the cellophane tube is permeable to the waste materials like urea, and the potassium ions and hydrogen ions can easily move into the dialyzing fluid through the membrane of the cellophane tube. So the urea which is present in the blood, it can come out into the dialyzing fluid. The H+ ions can comes out into the dialyzing fluid, and even the potassium ions can pumped out into the dialyzing fluid. In such a way, whatever the waste material that is present in the blood can be removed out through this permeable membrane. As it is permeable only to the waste material will move out of the blood, and the blood of the patient can get purified. Once the blood gets purified, that blood can send back into the body of a patient. But before we send the blood into the body of a patient, we need to add one substance here into the blood, and that substance is anti-heparin. Just to decrease the effect of heparin, we are using anti-heparin solution here to make the blood normal. Once the blood gets normal, it can be sent into the body of a patient. This is how we can achieve the purification of blood without the help of kidney, but with the help of a machine called dialyzing machine. So once let us recall the process. Here we are selecting an artery to take the blood out. The blood enters into the cellophane tube. We are adding heparin, which is an anticoagulant solution to prevent the blood clot, and the blood then enters into the tube, cellophane tube. It enters into the dialyzing machine. Once it enters into the dialyzing machine, where the waste like urea, potassium ions and hydrogen ions are present into the blood, it can easily moved out into the dialyzing fluid. Dialyzing fluid doesn't contain any waste material. The waste material which is present in the patient's blood, that can enter into the dialyzing fluid. Once the dialyzing fluid gets filled of waste material, then we can change that dialyzing fluid during the process of dialysis. So in this way, dialyzing fluid is acting as an important fluid that takes up all the waste present in the patient's blood, and it can help in the purification of the blood. Once the blood gets filtered, it can be sent back into the body's patient. So this process is called as dialysis. That's all for today. Meet you in next class. Goodbye.